Cheers and welcome to Bitter Reality Brewing. Yes! What is this video about? Well, we'll go into the little subject lines, but this is iGulu and troubleshooting off flavors. That's right, troubleshooting off flavors. I've been reading in the forums and I see a good handful of people, if not more so, having some problems. And they're saying it doesn't taste right, or I've got some funky flavors, or oh, it's nasty, or whatever it may be. Well, I'm here to help you figure out what's causing it and how to fix it. Okay, and we're gonna cover a little extra in here. So what are the topics are we gonna cover? Well, first we're gonna cover your water. Yes, we're gonna cover your water. Number two, we're gonna cover how to clean the iGulu system, not the keg, the system. Then we're gonna cover how to clean the keg and the components with the keg. And then we're also gonna cover on the fourth section, deep cleaning the iGulu keg and components. That's right, deep cleaning. So first, we're gonna go right into one of the obvious ones. And I have had discussions with people where they go, man, I've been drinking my water for 10 years, it's great. Okay, just because you don't notice chloramine, chlorine, or other chemicals that could be in your water doesn't mean it's going to make great beer, cider, or anything else. And it's cheap, just buy a gallon of spring water. Buy a gallon of spring water, try it. If that doesn't fix the problem, it's a different issue. But if you're on well water, you probably got some good minerals, it's probably good, but you never know what else might be leaching in there. Your filtration system may or may not be getting everything out. If you are using city water, I can pretty much guarantee, especially in the US, you have at least some chlorine or chloramine. It's like a synthetic version of chlorine. It doesn't just air out. You can't just set the water out and, oh, it'll be gone tomorrow. Most of it might be gone, but there might be some other stuff in there now. So just go buy a gallon of good spring water, good beer. It goes hand in hand. Number two, and this is also very, very simple, even simpler than the first one, is how to clean the iGulu system. Well, first of all, there's not a lot to clean because your beer doesn't touch anything, although it can touch the very bottom edge of the stainless, which, hey, yeah, you can take that off, clean it really well, get yourself something like these. I love these things. They're brushes I got off Amazon. Anything I mention in here, I will leave links below, including for the iGulu system, and hopefully get you a discount here or there if I can. But yeah, I love these things. I use them for all kinds of stuff. And yeah, it cleans the inside really easy because you're not getting your finger in there, and a paper towel may not do a good job. But yeah, you can clean that out. And if something does touch that, that's that last fraction of an inch. In here, I've had a few of them where they start to smell from either the moisture buildup from during the fermentation, or because I've spilled a little bit of beer in there, it can get quite funky. Well, dry or moist paper towel as needed, clean it all out. If it smells fine, like I dried mine out last night, then you're good. If it doesn't smell fine, very simple solution. Sprinkle some baking soda. That's right, baking soda. Just sprinkle it, make sure everything's coated with a light film of baking soda. Let it sit open overnight. The next morning, take a vacuum out any excess baking soda, then take a mildly damp paper towel and wipe as needed until you get it all out of there. There's no more odor. Yeah, baking soda does an amazing job, and most people already know that, but that's just something to be aware of. So that's it, we're done cleaning this. That's really how simple it really is to clean the iGulu system. Now, on to the harder parts. A lot of people don't understand this, but when you're brewing beer, or anything really, lactic acid bacteria that produces lactic acid or lactic bacteria is around everywhere. If you've ever talked to somebody who made sourdough, or if you've ever made sourdough, you know all you need is flour, water, cover it so that air can get in, and it will start to turn sour because of the bacteria in the air. It's all around us. It's everywhere. It is probably one of the most common bacteria floating around you. Now, there are lots of other bacteria. If you've ever had an upper respiratory infection, bacterial infection in your sinus like I had recently, that's in the air too. And that can make it really, really nasty. I mean, it looks like penicillin went over the top. It's nasty. You do not want to get that in your beer. The problem is it's almost microscopic. You won't see it get in there. You'll put the beer in there, you'll be all good, or the wort, and it'll ferment. And next thing you know, you're like, God, it doesn't taste good. Man, they sent me a bad kit. No, they didn't. You just either missed something in cleaning or you left it in the air way too long. So how do we clean this? And this is for number 3, cleaning the iGulu keg and components. Okay, and what do I mean by components? The straw, the actual dip tube, which, yeah, like has some sort of fuzzy thing on it. And this one's kind of dirty. I just pulled this out of a keg. So it's got some gunk in it. This is relatively clean, although it's got some water spots from, you know, minerals that are in my water. And here, okay, so first of all, this is a basic cleaning. You're gonna want a couple things. Let me warn you too, do not put, I know people have already mentioned putting this in your dishwasher. Don't do it, don't do it. Why? Okay, the dishwasher isn't going to damage it, or shouldn't, I'll say that. Your mileage may vary, but what will damage it is dishwashing detergents, because most of them have what? Perfumes. Oh, lemon fresh scent. Oh, it smells so great. Okay, those leave film behind on your dishes. Yeah, that's kind of gross too. And those chemicals that are left behind, they may be okay for you to eat and drink, but they're not gonna be good for making beer, cider, kombucha, or anything else. So don't use dishwashing, don't use Dawn, Palmolive. They all have scents in them. It's just gross. If you absolutely have to, you could use something like OxiClean dye-free. That's right, OxiClean dye-free, little green, yeah, free. It doesn't have any of this other garbage in it. Now, if you want to do it on the cheap, One Step. One Step does a great job. Okay, they call it oxygen cleaner, but it does a good job. I'm not going to say it's the best thing out there, but it does a good job, in my opinion. If you're in it for the long term, go buy yourself some PBW. You can buy a small thing of this, and Star San. You can also buy a small thing. I'll leave links down below, somewhere like Amazon or something. Here's what the small bottle looks like, which mine's almost empty. And it's been banged up for a while, because what do? Buy the big one, fill the little one. Use the little one when the little one's gone and the big one fills up the little one last time, I buy another big one. It's just the way I work. Another thing you can do, which is huge, and we'll go into this, but get a spray bottle. Put some preferably distilled water in here, and then turn around and add some of your Star San. And now you have a spray bottle for cleaning things. And I'll show you what I use that for. What's the one thing in the iGulu you probably never have to clean? Yeah, the C-clamp. Because why? Because it goes on the outside. It doesn't touch your beer. So how do we clean this? Well, I'm gonna do the PBW and the Star San as the example, because that is the best cleaners possible. You're gonna fill this with warm water. You're gonna put your PBW based on what it tells you for measurements. You're gonna put the lid on. You're gonna shake it up. You're gonna let it sit there for a few minutes. And then, what are you gonna do? You're not gonna take it apart yet. You're gonna take the liquid line, you're gonna snap it in, close that, and shake it, and it's going to come through the tube. Then, what I would recommend is taking this, dumping it somewhere where this can sit flat, like a big pot. Dump it all in there. Let these soak for a little while. Let them soak. Just let them soak for a few minutes, you know, get in there, maybe even 20 minutes. Let them get really nice and saturated. Then, on here, oh, hey, look. It pops right off. Well, I say it and then I can't get it to pop right off. There we go. If you have a problem getting that off, there is a little trick. This comes with the iGulu. Yeah, you can pry it right off. But stuff gets under here, gunk. And it only takes like microscopic amounts to contaminate your beer. That's right, microscopic amounts to contaminate your beer. Okay, so that's a basic cleaning with a alkaline. The alkaline's gonna break down organics, you know, beer, anything like that. It'll break it down. You rinse it all out really good. Then you take your Star San and you repeat the whole process and you clean everything again. Don't use the spray bottle. We'll go into that later. But clean everything. Now on these, you rinse them, soak them too, and then you can even spray through here. You know, take it, what I like to do on the rubber hose is rub it anywhere there's a little color, just to make sure it's really getting in there, and clean it. If it's still not clean when you're done, rinse, repeat, and do it again, okay? You just want it to be nice and clean. Now let's say this is your 3rd, 4th, 5th brew, and you're really getting in there. Well, that's where number 4 comes in. Deep cleaning. You're gonna wanna do a deep clean. How do you do a deep clean? Well, you're gonna do all those same things, okay? But you're gonna take it another step. And I'm gonna give you a little bonus tip at the end here. If you're looking at these, take a pair of pliers like that. See the little cool needle nose pliers? There are notches. I don't know if you can see these little notches on both sides, okay? You put your tool in there and you turn it, and you can unscrew these two. This one has a little butterfly, so you can just turn it, okay? I already have one here that I've loosened up, okay? And when you're doing the regular cleaning, you should probably be flipping this upside down and pulling the PRV to let liquid go through it, just to kind of rinse it. It usually doesn't get contaminated very easy unless you're one of those people who shakes the keg. Don't stir. Trust me, stir. Don't shake. But I can now take this out. Yeah. And there's a little, like, O-ring, grommet, whatever you want. You gotta take that and clean that. Clean all that, okay? In here, if you see anything, well, even if you don't, you should clean it, okay? If you can't get in there, your brushes. Yeah, the brushes, they do a great job. I love these brushes. You put it back, okay? And when you're done, you go to the next one. And you open this one, and guess what? Yeah, you can see through here so you can clean it, and there's another O-ring. Take that off, clean everything, put it all back together. If you need liquid to flow through here, which you will, just snap this on, it'll let liquid flow through because it opens up the valve. And the last one, you gotta be careful. This one, be very careful. But when you take this, this is for the air. This one shouldn't be bad, but I took mine apart and I saw a little bit of particles in there, which bothers me, so I gotta clean them. But in here, I saw little tiny bits of, tiny little bits of particles, but if I can see it, that's really bad. But this whole thing comes apart. Yeah, see? Little metal thing. There's a spring. Do not do this over a carpet. Do it over a counter somewhere safe, so if you drop it, you can find your parts. There's a little O-ring, but clean all of this. Put it back together. A trick to putting this one back together is get the spring level on there and flip this over, line it up, and screw it in like that, okay? And don't over tighten it. You can use this to tighten it up a little bit more if you need to, but don't over tighten it. And just make sure everything's super, super clean. If it still doesn't look clean, soak it again. Do it again. Wash, rinse, repeat. Once it's really clean, then great. If, and this is 2 bonus tips, if you're done brewing, don't take the keg out right away. Take it out when you're ready to clean it. If you take it out, don't open it until you're ready to clean it. Because as soon as you open it, it's gonna dry out and get really hard to clean. If you clean this and you still see a residual line around here where it was fermenting, it's not clean. I'm sorry, that's not a stain. It's not clean. You gotta do it again. Last bonus tip, and this is something I do in my big brewing to my 1 gallon brewing, is just before I go to use that keg, which I store them like this, I do not close them up. I want them to dry and air out. I store these like this, on a paper towel. Okay, there's dust in the air. It's gonna get in everything, okay? So just before I go to do my beer, I take my Star San water solution, I spray it, I spray this, I let them sit while I'm getting things ready, then I come back, and it's a no rinse solution, but I rinse it. I just rinse it all off, make sure it's super clean. I set it on paper towels over here. You've probably seen me doing that when I'm getting ready to make the beer. But that way I know the last thing that happened to it was it got hit with another quick acid rinse, which is going to help get rid of any kind of floating bacteria or whatever is in the dust floating around you. You've seen the sun come in and you're like, you see those little things floating. Yeah, can you imagine what you can't see? Yeah. So that's it. I hope that helps. Like I said, these brushes are huge. Other little tip, don't use any abrasives. Abrasives are bad. Never use an abrasive in here. You're gonna end up putting little lines and scratches, and that's where all the bad stuff's gonna hide. You're never gonna get it clean. So no abrasive. You got that yellow sponge with the green side, don't ever use that green side, ever. Not on brewing equipment that's going to be touching your beer, cider, kombucha, whatever it may be. Cheers, I appreciate you. Like, subscribe, keep sharing, and hopefully this helps you make better beer, beverage, whatever you were making. Cheers.